Family, watch this word. In 1 Samuel chapter 9, we see that God chooses Saul as king. Now hear me, this wasn't a man who chased the throne. This was a man who God anointed. We see this in 1 Samuel chapter 10. But here's where the narrative shifts. In 1 Samuel chapter 15, God gives a clear command to Saul through Samuel. He tells him to destroy Amalek completely. No partial obedience, no adjustments, no I think that this is better. Now Saul goes, but he edits the command of God. He keeps King Agag alive, and he spares the best animals. Now keep in mind, God told Saul to leave nothing alive. And when Saul is confronted, he doesn't repent, he justifies it. He says, I obeyed, but the people took the spoil to sacrifice to the Lord. Now hear me, this is the king of Israel, and he shifts blame and he reframes his disobedience as worship. And then Samuel tells him something that should shake you. He tells him to obey is better than sacrifice. Now this means that God is not impressed by what you offer him if you disobey what he told you. And then it gets even heavier because we see that Samuel tells Saul, because you rejected the word of the Lord, he has rejected you as king. Now hear me, God didn't reject Saul out of nowhere. Saul rejected God first. And here's the part that people don't sit with enough. In 1 Samuel chapter 16, we see that God tells Samuel, I have rejected him as king. Then immediately, God sends Samuel to go anoint David, who is going to be the next king of Israel. There was no delay. There was no pause. God moves on. Now here's a revelation that we can draw from the text. Being chosen by God does not make you untouchable if you keep choosing disobedience. See, Saul still looked like a king outwardly. He still had the title. But the presence, the favor, the approval of God was gone. See, you can keep the position and lose the presence. And the root issue wasn't just disobedience, but it was how Saul viewed God. He feared people more than he feared God. We see this in 1 Samuel chapter 15. And that's why he compromised. And this points us straight to Christ. Because where Saul failed as a king, Jesus didn't. Jesus obeyed the Father completely, not partially and not selectively. Philippians 2 tells us that he was obedient to the point of death. Saul lost the kingdom through disobedience. Jesus secured an eternal kingdom through his obedience. And here's the truth, God is not looking for people who do most of what he says, but he's looking for people who take his words seriously. Because partial obedience is still disobedience. And God doesn't bless what he didn't say. God doesn't adjust his word to fit you, but he expects you to align with his. And here's the true weight of the text. You can stay alive and still be used in some ways, and yet be replaced in what God originally told you to carry. Take the word of the Lord serious. Handle it with humility and not ignorance.